Hi, Shelly Lefkoe from Parenting the Lefkoe Way back again with 2 more tips to make sure that you're not making the common parenting error mistakes that so many of us make. In common parenting error number 7, I'll explain why so many of us are driven to keep proving ourselves no matter how much we accomplish. This tip will ensure that your kids will never have this problem. In common parenting error number 8, I'll teach you how to determine who you should take parenting advice from. People are always telling us how to raise our kids. Parenting experts say different things. How do we know who to listen to? Watch and find out. Common parenting error number 7. Acknowledging your children primarily for what they do or don't do. As a result of this practice, most people grow up thinking they are human doings and not human beings. Think about how you talk to your child from morning till night. You didn't clean your room. Did you do your homework? Thanks for taking out the garbage. What did you do today? Congratulations, you got an A. How many of us are acknowledging our children primarily for who they are rather than what they do? Have you ever been to a funeral where friends and family acknowledge the deceased for what she did? She owned 3 businesses, or she was worth millions. Or do they say, here lies Stephanie. She was a devoted wife, a great friend. She listened when people talked. She was kind and caring. She always encouraged her children and friends when things weren't going well. We value who people are, and yet some families mostly talk about what their children do. I've worked with many clients who were workaholics. Andy, a client who amassed a net worth of $10 million by working day and night, told me one day that he didn't know his kids and that his wife was ready to divorce him because he was never home. He told me that when he pulled away from his driveway on Saturday morning on his way to the office and saw his neighbor playing with his kids, he ached to go back, but couldn't. What drove him to work all the time? Here were a few of his beliefs. I'm not important. I'm not good enough. What makes me important or good enough are my accomplishments. This last one came from wanting his father's acknowledgement desperately and only getting it when he did things his father valued. Positive parenting alternative. Acknowledge your children for who they are, their qualities of character, not what they do. Tell your kids that you're glad to see them, that you love spending time with them, that they're a joy to be with, that they have a great sense of humor and always make you laugh, that they're easy to be with, that you love to watch them be with their siblings. Acknowledge their journey, not only their destination. Here's one of my favorite parenting stories. When Britt was 9 years old, she was a competitive swimmer. One day she had a lousy swim meet and came out of the water very sad. Morty acknowledged her feelings by saying, I know that you work so hard in practice and that you're disappointed that you didn't swim well. I got it, honey. You really wanted to do better. But remember, you are a competent, capable, lovable, important kid who just had a lousy swim. Your value and worth is not a function of how fast you go across a swimming pool. I love you no matter how fast you swim. Imagine hearing that as a kid. Common parenting error number 8. Blindly accepting parenting advice from friends or even experts. Don't even do what I'm suggesting in this article just because I say so. Check every bit of advice with your new mantra. What beliefs is my child likely to form if I do or say whatever on a regular basis? If the beliefs are likely to be positive, go ahead. If the beliefs are likely to be negative, you probably ought to look for better advice. Dr. James Dobson, who has tens of thousands of followers, advocates spanking a 2-year-old so hard that he feels it through his diaper. What do you think a child would conclude from this behavior? I'm powerless. Hitting is the way to get what you want. I'm bad. I've seen parents hit their kids when their child's hitting another child, shouting, "Don't hit!" while they're hitting them. Pediatrician Richard Farber, who created the Farber method to get children to go to sleep, advocates letting your child cry until they fall asleep and not picking them up no matter how long they cry. Yes, they stop crying eventually, but if the only way they have of making their needs known is crying, and that doesn't get their needs met, comforting or getting food, what do you think a child would conclude if you did this? I'm not important. My needs are not important. 3-year-olds form beliefs. But in fact, many children form beliefs and hold them emotionally before they even have language. Positive parenting alternative. Always ask yourself the question, what might my child conclude if I repeatedly do or say what this person is telling me to do? I hope you found these tips valuable in your daily parenting. I've saved the best for last, so make sure you stay tuned for the 2 tips that are coming your way soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a conscious parent. And remember, the beliefs that your child forms today are the ones that will impact their lives later on.